Hi, welcome to Prayers Radio. I'm your host, Rich Jarvis. My co host is John Waterhouse.
Hi, buddy.
There he is. This show is only about prayer in its homes, which we call spiritual mind treatment in this philosophy. You got it, John.
Wonderful. I want to introduce you to our guest today. This is an amazing woman who is making such a difference in the world. I have no idea how many years I've known her, but I adore her. I think she is not only beautiful on the outside, but just an amazing presence in every way. She's brilliant, she's powerful, and she's, again, making a difference in the world. Everyone, this is Reverend Dr. Sunshine Daye. Welcome, Sunshine.
Hello, thank you
Would
for
you
that
do?
greeting.
Oh, my delight. Would you please bring us together in prayer?
Absolutely, that would be my honor. I'm going to close my eyes and invite you to do the same if you're safe and if it would benefit you. And as I close my eyes, I recognize that there's a power, and a presence. And this power and presence, this life is joy. It is life itself. It is beautiful and magnificent. And what I know about this power and presence is that it is all there is. And it has created everything out of itself. Therefore, my life is its life. And that which is true of spirit, of God, of this infinite intelligence is true about me. And as it is true about me, it is true about John, it is true about Rich, it is true about each and every person listening within earshot. It is true about all things. All things originate from this involution activity that has happened within spirit and now the outward appearance of all things. And so I'm simply blessed knowing this. And because I am one with this power and presence, because we are all one with it, I'm simply calling forth that this program, this activity, this conversation about prayer is indeed rich and joyful, informative, and that it moves and shifts the consciousness of those listening. And it shifts my even my own consciousness, that to something greater. So I know that our time is blessed. I let it be so and grateful for the power of prayer. I release it now into the activity of the law, knowing that it is done in the mind of spirit, in the mind of God. Therefore, it is done now. And so it is.
So it is
Wow,
beautiful, wonderful. Again,
powerful.
welcome. I'm so happy you're here. I'm going to do the first question to you. Tell us about your ministry. What's going on? How are you serving the world?
Wow, John, I'm so excited to talk about my ministry because when I became a minister, before I became a minister, I said, who's looking for God? Who's seeking God? Because I just don't want to talk to a bunch of people and try to convert and try to, and make life hard. Who's seeking God? And through my own experience, I know that people in 12-step recovery programs are seeking God. Their own 12 steps really point to a higher power, a creative intelligence, the great reality, the broad highway. And so, what I get an opportunity to do, and what I notice is in particular now, like over my 39 years of sobriety, I notice that so many people don't have a conscious contact with spirit and that they're white knuckling their own recovery, their own sobriety, their own clean time. And it doesn't really work, that they're still miserable and discontent. And so my ministry is a transformational one that gives people an opportunity to discover that indwelling power and presence that is never in absence, that is fully present, and that is the solution to all of their daily living problems and situations. And so I get to do that, and I get to do that via YouTube. I do a weekly show on YouTube where people get an opportunity to have a micro spiritual practice to bring them in close close awareness, in close proximity to that indwelling power and presence, so that their recovery, their sobriety, their life is brilliant and peaceful and loving and warm and everything that they got sober for. Because I don't know about other people, but I didn't get sober to be miserable. And I don't live a miserable life because I have prayer, because I know this power and presence within me. And I just get an opportunity to share that. And it brings me so much joy to interact with people in this way and to watch that loving spirit, living spirit within them become a thing and actually become alive within them and transform their lives. So that's ministry for me, and it's a lot of fun. It's not work at all.
Of course not.
Wow.
That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
It
yeah.
is. Hey,
Rich?
Reverend Dr. Sunshine Day. May I call you Sunshine?
Yes, just
Okay.
sunshine is perfect. Thank you, Rich.
Title. People like titles. Hey, I want to point out that her website, and I'm gonna spell this for you, is spelled VIDASLC.org. And I highly suggest visiting her site to get all the information on where she's going to be out and where she's speaking, because she's a powerful speaker on this. So I'm just raising
Thank
praise on
you.
that. Hey, how does prayer show up in your life?
It's a necessity. And when I say necessity, I say it like the necessity of air
Mm,
that I breathe. And I don't consciously breathe, by the way. Unless I'm in a quote unquote meditation or I'm in a breathworks class, I breathe unconsciously, and I breathe because it's a necessity. And for me, prayer is very similar. I can always go, okay, it's time to breathe, taking a nice deep breath. I can always go, hey, now it's time to pray, take in this prayer, just like I was invited to just a few minutes ago. But prayer for me is really an active thing, like my breath. The things that I think about, the words that I speak, more and more prayer is my daily activity and is that necessity of lifting people up, of remembering the truth, of speaking the truth, of bringing people together. It's about harmony. It's about recognizing how incredible life is, even in any plant, in any leaf, in our dog, in just meeting neighbors as I walk the neighborhood. Prayer is really that. It is remembering and having that conscious contact with this indwelling power and presence that is living as me right now, and kind of going in the middle of the day like, oh my gosh, I love my life. Like, this is incredible. This existence, this thing that I'm doing, breathing and walking and talking, and being in my right mind, if you will. For me, that's prayer, is remembering that in every moment that I possibly can, that I am a beneficial presence on the planet, that I am at cause, that I create. And when I use prayer in that way to create people's experiences, my own experiences, or to course correct when things go awry and they're not what I want them to really be, um, that's how prayer shows up. It's a simple process of acknowledging and recognizing my oneness, that I am spirit made manifest, and
Yes.
then acting from there, and then living from there, and then engaging from that consciousness.
wow.
Brilliant. So the people that are invited onto this show all have a prayer practice of some sort, but most of them actually also teach the practice of spiritual mind treatment. Do you have a particular way that you teach students to understand this process? Look at that smile. I love
I,
that smile.
I'm glad you asked. Yes, and um, I'm not the originator of this. I am the originator of how I teach this. But once upon a time, I learned some real easy principles and real easy steps, remembering my hand. And so, what I say now and how I've adopted using my fingers is prayer is always at hand. And I use my left hand. As I look at my pinky, it's the most vulnerable finger. ALL. God is all there is. God is all. That's how I teach spiritual mind treatment. God is all. And then the marriage finger, when people get married, God and I are one. So God and I are one. And then there's this middle finger. When I'm praying about something, it may usually be about a hurdle or something that's mucked up in life. Get it? But I make my prayer request that tall. It's the tallest finger as well. Like, so it's got to be a big, big ask, big, big remembering the truth. Like, here's the truth of who I am. It supersedes all the other fingers. It's the overriding truth. And then I point to gratitude, like I'm grateful that this is the truth. And I go, yes, I'm grateful for this. And I point to all the areas of my life where my prayer requests, where life is already on my side. And then I let go. And when I let go, it's a thumbs up. It's a thumbs up. So that's how I teach spiritual mind treatment, the 5-step treatment. God is all. I'm one with spirit. This is where the realization is, and this is what the truth of who I am, irrespective of the situation and the circumstances. I point to the gratitude and I let go. I let go. I release this word into the activity of the law. I let go, and life is good, And when I'm doing my thumbs up, life is good. So that's
I
that's
love
how I
that
teach prayer.
system. That is so easy to remember. Where were you in 1984 when they said there were 5 steps? And I'm going, I have to learn 5 steps before I can pray?
Yeah.
You just made that so simple.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do your
You're welcome.
how have your prayers changed over time? I mean, what do you find that works now in your life?
Yeah, I mean, though there's this formalized way of prayer now, I think what I was alluding to and what I was speaking about earlier, Rich, is how prayer has changed in my life.
Mhm.
Do we honestly really need 5 steps in order to be heard, in order to commune, in order to receive, in order to be ready and prepared? I think not. I think the prayer, the 5-step prayer and learning it in that way actually just sets up a roadmap for the ease and grace. I remember driving a stick shift and having to, hit the clutch and getting into gear and when to downshift and things of that nature. And once I learned, I was in San Francisco on the hills, just kind of like rocking back and forth, and I knew how to handle the car. And that's how it is with me today, is that's how I handle prayer today. For sure, for sure. I can hang out in just the awe of spirit, the awe of my life, that I have all these body parts and they all work together for my good and that I can actually run on the pickleball court and have hand-eye coordination and do all these things, that too is prayer when I also add that piece of gratitude and that sense of being in awe, in amazement, not fear of God, but in awe of God, in awe of this power and presence that just has systems and planets and just everything going, all at once. Like I'm in awe. I wake up in awe. When I wake up in the morning, I go, oh, it's a great day to be alive. Like, oh wow, I'm alive. I get to do this again. I get to do this again. And even on the days where I'm not so happy, it's like, okay, I wonder what's in store today. Something good must come from this. And even on the days where I'm not so, sunshine and sparkly, the days where I'm grieving and mourning and in some of my sadness, that even then, prayer works because I'm still in awe of the range of emotions and feelings and thoughts that come, that come to me and that come through me, or that people, I get to interact with people who needed to hear a word, or maybe I needed an inspiration from them. So I'm not always the flow. Sometimes the flow comes this way, and that I get to be in that presence of mind to go, yeah, it's time for me to receive now. Oh, okay. I'm being fed now. I'm being nurtured now. Yes. It's an inflow now. And then I'm filled. And then it's the outflow, and it's the ebb and the flow. It's the nature of life. And that's how prayers change, where I can just simply say spirit or God or living intelligence, and it brings me back to a centered place of, okay, I was tripping. Okay. Yeah, that wasn't the me that I want to show up as. I get to make amends there. I get to kind of go, oh yeah, what do I learn from that? Okay, cool. Or what am I missing? Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? How am I caring for self? Because if I'm not caring for self, then yeah, I'm snappy and uh, grumpy with others. And it's just a reminder, it's just a reminder. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm living this experience, and there I didn't do anything wrong. I get to learn and grow from those experiences. And that's how prayers changed for me, in that it was the step by step, and now it's simply my good morning to my neighbor is prayer.
Mhm.
Mm, that's
Brilliant,
neat.
brilliant.
You're part of the
So,
one mind, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
so I would like to ask you when your prayer manifests. When does it manifest?
Immediately, immediately. And now, if I'm praying for a pen, does a pen magically appear? No, but what happens for me in prayer now is that there's the pen. What happens for me in prayer now is, once I'm in agreement, and what I do is I get in alignment. I the prayer is there to help my brain see it, imagine it, and accept it. Accept that this is coming forth. And then what happens for me is, it the manifestation happens immediately, because when I pray on it, I'm already then coming into alignment with the words that I'm speaking, with my prayer, with that which I wish to experience. And so, by virtue of my consciousness and my cells and my body and everything now coming in alignment, that's already the manifestation. That's already a manifestation. Now that manifestation coming into physical form may take what we call time, but it's already a manifestation. And so I'm already receiving it, I'm already experiencing it, to the degree in which I'm willing to see and recognize that it is already made manifest in that moment, because I came to an awareness of it, because I prayed upon it, because I've spoken it. And so it's simply now, and here's the kicker, is that whether I actually receive the object that I thought I was praying upon, it does not matter, because what has happened in my cells, in my body, in my consciousness, is that I'm already that. I'm already sunshine with the pen. Like, so whatever it was that pen was going to then bring into my life even further, with or without the pen, I'm still benefiting from that prayer. So it's a manifestation. And I think where earlier on where I would get hung up is, I want $1 million. And the $1 million would not appear in my bank account or in my lottery ticket. And I just threw the baby out with the bathwater. versus, I want to have this, I want the freedom of a car. I want a car, an automobile. Well, if I had a chauffeur, I certainly wouldn't need a car. Be like, chauffeur, please take me here, take me. It's the freedom. It's that whole thing. But it early on in my practice, my prayer practice, it was really about the parking spots, the princess, the prince, the palace kind of manifestation, the physical, three-dimensional versus the manifestation that it's already done here. And so I'm going to go with this and enjoy this to the fullest because even more is going to come from that I couldn't even see that was a benefit for me and for those in my life anyway.
Okay, I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So did you really treat for $1 million?
Yeah, and I just sold my property for 1.1 million.
Of
So, I
course you
mean,
did. Of
boom.
course you did.
What
And
time
were
and
you not
spirit.
on a game show out there in California?
I was on a game show, became the first five-time champion on the Hollywood Squares, which bought me the house
Yes.
that I just sold. And so
There you go.
25 years later, here I am experiencing this property that was a benefit to me, and it benefits so many people. John, I got to tell you that when the house was on the market and we were in escrow, I went throughout the property and people will call me and say, "I thank you, Sunshine. That house, those homes, your sober living, it gave me and my niece an opportunity to live there, to be sober, to not. I mean, like there was so many animals and people that were blessed by that, and I started praying for that $1 million when I first before I got on that game show. Before I got on that
Yeah,
game show. And that's the point, John. Thank you for bringing that full circle there in my own life
thank you.
because absolutely um absolutely that's how it works. And in the meantime and in between time, if I'm just where is the $1 million? I'm missing out on the blessing and the answered prayer because
Yeah,
here it is, all of
you're
this
pushing it
time.
away.
Yeah, all of this time, all this energy, like, oh yeah, it's not. And like, but it is, Blanche. That's our joke, Blanche. But it is, Blanche, it is, like here it is, Blanche.
I love it.
So,
Yeah.
I keep
hey,
going. Rich, ask this beautiful woman something. So I
I
quit.
got I got lots of questions. What's your favorite Ernest Holmes book besides The Science of Mind?
I because I'm working with people in recovery, I'm using this one right here. It's not even
Oh,
it's
show it to the audience if you
alcoholism.
would.
Yeah, alcoholism is cause and cure from the viewpoint of Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes. And it's
Very
a
nice.
small pamphlet.
Cool.
It's all
And
right.
I've just been, the inner kingdom is not an illusion. And though, he speaks in the voice of his time and very male, that inner reign is right within us. And so I absolutely, adopt a lot of Ernest Holmes and use it use it in my everyday talk, you
There's, you know,
know?
there's nothing different under the sun that happens. I mean, we talked about wars going on now. He had the Korean War back then. We talked about that previous show. Alcoholism hasn't changed, but there are challenges with other substances we have. Hey, what's your favorite reference? His reference, one of the references that stick in your mind,
You,
in
the,
terms of
the
a quote.
the one that I use the most is the one referencing emancipation from all discord, and that it is sure to be attained by all. And that's one of these, like, what an
Yeah.
order. That's a tall hurdle. That's a tall hurdle. Like, really? And I've been working with this idea that the things that disturb us, those things that disturb us. like what are they? What are the things that disturb me or that kind of push my buttons or that make me go, oh, I don't like that, or I don't like that person, or I don't like what they did. And I think about that quote about discord.
Mhm.
And even the small things. So the way someone's chewing, if that disturbs me, what is what's underneath that? And what about that is not spirit, God, how God is expressing? And how can I adjust my thinking or my viewpoint? Yeah, I can really go, wow, that person's really enjoying that gum or that food, or, wow, to be that free, to be like, Um, it's so I get a chance to like play there in terms of like discord or the things that disturb me, um, that in the bigger scheme of life are pretty insignificant. But then from there, I can go to the bigger things that are quote unquote significant, the conditions of the world, and remembering, hey, well, is spirit in charge here? What's my view on this? And just examining my perspective, and how I want to be with people who have opposite opposite views from me. My mail carrier has opposite views from me, and we have a great old time. And her name is Diana, and every now and then she stops and pauses, and we have a conversation. And it's just lovely to be able to allow spirit to express in all of the ways that spirit expresses, as her, as me, and go, wow, okay, that was a great opportunity to simply be with someone who sees the world a little bit differently than I do. And it didn't hurt.
We're at the 5 minute mark, so we're going to shotgun the questions. John, you get the next one.
Okay, well, I want to ask you, what do you tell one of your students that says, I did the treatment just like you said, and it didn't work?
Yeah. Hmm. So what did work about it?
Mm,
Can you find anything that did work? And also, so we would have a conversation about what did work, if anything, and what were you expecting? What were you expecting?
There
And
you
let's
go.
examine what you were
That's it.
expecting, so that we can just kind of, and are you willing to try again?
mm.
And one of the great questions from A Course of Miracles, are you willing to see this differently?
Mm, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Lovely
I
response.
answer it with more questions because it's in the questions where
Exactly.
where students, especially me, where I get to hmm, be with
Yeah.
that.
I often say to people, well, what did happen? And when they go through all of that, it's pretty easy for me to point out where the treatment was happening, where it was working,
Yes,
where it was unfolding. They just couldn't see it.
they couldn't see it. Yeah.
That's cool. Excellent. Rich?
Mhm.
So what takeaway would you want our audience to take away from this show today?
Prayer is powerful.
Mm,
And prayer, one of the things that I learned early on, prayer is not begging God to make things happen. Prayer is really me training my brain to see all the good in life and
Mm,
to see where life is actually for me and not against me.
really.
that was well
That's
said.
brilliant. I'm so glad we got to have this conversation.
Me too. Thank you so much.
Well,
Yeah.
So, um, you're going out and working with groups. All that's available on your website, and you're doing a great job in the world. And congratulations on receiving your honorary doctorate. That's fantastic. So deserving. In fact, I got to scratch my head and I wonder why that didn't happen 10, 20 years ago. But
there you
it
go.
always happens in perfect order. I know that.
Yeah,
Indeed.
yeah.
Indeed. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a great honor, and I don't take it lightly. Thank you.
Of
Well,
course.
let me plug your site again. It's of course on the website is vidaslc.org, and I advise our people that are listening to us, check it out. Check it out. She's got a lot of good stuff on there. I'm Prayers Radio, and that's where you can find me. This is John Waterhouse. Tell us where they can find you.
Got a bunch of things going on. I just in the process right now of releasing my latest book called Spirits Awakening. You can get that on Amazon. I also have a podcast that I do with Reverend Lawrence DeRusha. It's called Higher Reality on the Edge of Understanding. And I'll be around. You'll see me.
You'll be on here too.
That's true. Every
Well,
week.
let's go ahead and have Sunshine, if you wouldn't mind praying us out, please.
That would
Unless
be
you have
great.
anything else to say, if there's other.
No, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being on with the both of you. Thank you for all you do in the world. You are making a difference. Yeah. So I close my eyes again, this time with gratitude, a grateful heart, grateful for our conversation, for how this conversation changes lives. Grateful that everything is indeed in divine order, unfolding perfectly and magnificently. So I know our time has been blessed, blessed indeed. And as we leave each other now in the virtual realm, I know that we are never apart in the spiritual realm. And for this and so much more, I give thanks. I simply say, and so it is.
It
So it
is.
is. We'll
Mm.
see you next week.
Your